I kind of wonder from John and Brett how you guys have used vulnerability in your program to build courage and to get at courage and communication. Because having an inside track, I know that's been a big kind of thing for your program over the last few years, is that building the relationships, being vulnerable, being honest, and being transparent. So could you guys speak to that?
Go ahead, Brett.
I was actually interested in what you have to say, what like your view on how we've done that is. I would love, I think there are some very strategic things that we do. We start with examinations of just our personality traits and different ways that we each uniquely see the world, what backgrounds we come from, and we get the team and the girls and the staff talking about those things so that they can understand that we all see the world through different lenses. I think it helps build perspective taking and empathy, and we do a lot of really deliberate team activities early on in the season to do that. And then we talk about what unifies us. So how are we different? How do we see things differently? But then what are the common factors that unify us and hold us together? I think we talk about the hard things we've been through that have shaped who we've become and why we're here trying to do this hard thing all together. And again, coaches, and one thing that I think we do differently with this program probably than I had done prior to starting to work with this program is how much I've included the coaching staff in all of these exercises and activities. And I don't think early on that was easy. I think that the staff and the team were a little more divided. And but again, John was so involved and so committed that to me it just seemed natural that you would do these things as a unit. And I think in doing so, I realized I overcame my fear of the girls being uncomfortable because their coaches are there learning those things about them, and have come to understand that there's tremendous benefit in their coaches getting to know those aspects of themselves and them getting to know those parts of their coaches. So there's some deliberate parts of that, but then there's also just some really organic stuff too. I think just chit-chatting after meals when we're on road trips together. And when you have a bunch of girls who hang out and just continue to eat and kind of chit-chat at tables with the coaches and stuff, I think that those are really profound moments of connection that are very organic. I think just the amount of time that we invest in spending with the athletes and with each other. I haven't worked with many teams that spend more time together than this program spends together, either as a staff or as athletes. And that can be hard, but I think that it allows you to really get to know one another. And I think there's a depth of understanding of one another. And we spend a lot of time with the girls one-on-one, getting to know them at a really deep level and asking the hard questions and inquiring and just being curious. I think there's a tremendous amount of curiosity that we try to bring to the table every time we interact with them. So I think that there's some really deliberate things we've done. And then I think there are some things that have just become part of the fabric of how we operate that are more organic.
Yeah, I'll add two things to that. First of all, the way they communicate today is everything's text, Instagram, fast. Every year, starting in the spring, we do, we'll get coffee, we'll have lunch. But the thing to highlight for them in the spring is when we go to Hawaii for beach, we do these small group dinners. So I'll take 2 players and we'll go to some funky restaurant. My assistants, all the assistants will take a couple players. That's their highlight of the week. It's not playing beach volleyball in Hawaii. It's spending time. And those dinners turn into 3 or 4 hours because they never do it. And they love to talk. Once they figure out, oh, guy, we can sit here to have a conversation. This is pretty cool. And they just go on all night. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is what some of the things that Brett's done with our team and getting them to open up on how they feel about things. I've heard this more in the last 5 years than in the first 15 years at Nebraska, is how much they're worried about pleasing me and how much of an impact that I have on them. And I don't believe it. And I still tell Brett, there's no way that player is worried about what I think. But when I hear that, I realize I am a key in all this. And the more vulnerable I can be with them, and the more real I can be with them, and not this, and I've got a generation gap now that is pretty wide. But the more I can connect with them and be vulnerable with them, the better job and the more comfortable they're going to be around me. And I can tell you, again, last decade, I could care less whether they liked me, what they thought. It never even came up. I never even thought about it. And today it is a major part of my thinking about how to coach this generation every day.